Hello everybody. I just recently purchased Stampin' Up's new hot foil machine and I've been playing with it for the last couple of days, so I thought it would be fun to come on and just show you how to make a card and how to use the machine. And instead of going live, I decided to just record this, and just because I feel like it might take a little while, and also because I'm trying to figure out how to keep everything in the picture, in the video, because you just need a little more workspace when you're dealing with the hot foil machine. But what I want to show you real quick, this is the new hot foil machine, and it is sitting on this silicone mat. That keeps your table protected as this warms up. I've already plugged it in because I want it to be ready when I get to the point where I'm ready to foil. And so you can see, hopefully, that this little red light is flashing. When it is hot and ready to go, it will beep and the red light will turn to a solid color. So we'll get there in a minute. We'll start with the stamping part of the card and then we'll move over to the foiling part. So this is the card that we are going to make. And I saw one similar, I mean, there's lots of samples out there to look at, so I kind of took a bunch and merged it into my own. So I don't really have anybody to specifically give credit to. So, but what we're gonna do is start with the stamping part of the card. I'll move this up here so you can see the card all the time. And what we are going to use for this card is the Botanical Glow stamp set. This is part of the hot foil line. And the Botanical Glow hot foil dies. Oh, I hate that glare. And I've already got the die sitting out here, so you can see that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the stamp set. Now, this stamp set is very large, and you could put it on a block. We have a block that it'll fit on, but I thought I would show you just in case you don't have the really large block. I actually have been stamping right off of the plastic sheet instead of putting it on a block. And so I was just gonna show you that. And let me move my paper aside for a minute. So we're gonna just start by inking up the stamp set, and we're using Pretty Peacock. And I'm hoping everything is still in the picture here. Move this stuff over just a little bit. So I'm just going to come in with my ink pad and ink up the stamp set. Just very gently tapping. No need to like shove the ink pad down on there. You just gently tap it. And then I'm going to bring in my foam mat, because you know I always use my foam mat. And this is going to go over the edge of the paper I'm using, so I'm going to bring in a piece of grid paper just to protect my foam mat from the ink. And I have a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4, and it's just white. And what I'm going to do is just set this down and just give it a good rub. Since I'm not using the actual block, I'm just making sure I rub every little image so that it gets on there. And there is the stamped image. I absolutely love this stamp set, and I can see me using this stamp set without even doing the foiling, but wait till you see the difference it makes when we do the foiling. It's still warming up. It's not ready for me to foil yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the next step, which is I've already cut out a label, and this is from the Sweet Words Labels and Dies, and this is what it looks like. Hopefully no glare. Okay, and we're gonna stamp Happy Birthday on this label, and this is coming from the Thanks Man stamp set, which this is my first time using it. I bought this, I think some of the words are silly, but I bought this because I really liked the font on the Happy Birthday and the thanks. That's really the main reason that I bought it. But I do kind of like the congrats and appreciate it. Like, there's something about the fonts that I just really liked. So we're going to ink up our Happy Birthday. And I don't need this anymore. It's much easier to not have that grid paper behind you when you stamp. I think it just makes it easier to see what you're doing. We're gonna just come in, and you could do it either way. You can stamp it first and then cut out the label. Just for the sake of making the video easier, I went ahead and cut the label out first. So there is that. Then I also cut out a second label, same exact label, in Pretty Peacock. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna alter it so that we can mat it behind, because we have nothing to mat right now. And so I'm gonna cut it in half. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm gonna come in and actually cut off this little piece here, because if not, I didn't like the way it looked. And I'm gonna do that on both sides. And I'm also going to do it on this piece, but just the top two we're gonna cut out. And this is all just because of the way I wanna mat it. Not because I don't like those pieces on there, but when you're trying to mat it, it just doesn't really line up. All right, and then that's done. We're still waiting on our foil machine. It takes about 6 minutes for this to get warm. So while we're waiting, go ahead and do a little bit of assembling on my sentiment. So I'm literally just taking that half a piece and I'm gonna put this on top of it just to give it that layer. I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue. You don't need a lot. You don't want it seeping out. Make that up a little bit. And we're gonna do the same thing on the top piece, a little bit of glue. I'm just lining that up. So now you've got a matted happy birthday. I'm done stamping, so I'm gonna go ahead and move my foam pad out of the way. And I'm gonna set this aside and waiting for this to beep any minute. I plugged it in before I started the video because I was hoping it would get hot fast for me. While I'm waiting, we can do some more prep work. So I have a piece of white cardstock. This is our thick white cardstock that I cut the sheet in half and then scored it in half. So it's a normal card side. And I'm gonna come in with my bone folder and give it a good crease. Oh, there's our beep, yay. All right, we'll set this aside and come back to it in a minute. All right, so we are ready to foil. So what you wanna do next is you're going to put your die on your foil machine. It's very important, this is hot. So you really don't wanna pick this up with your hands and try to set it on there because you could burn yourself. So this little magnetic tool allows you to pick up the die and put it, and then you just press the button to let go. This is another silicone mat. This is for putting your hot dies back on it when you're done so they can cool off and it protects your table. And I put it on there. I'm gonna push the white button. That lets the machine know that I've put the die on there, and now I need it to warm up the die, and it will let me know when the die is warm. So we're gonna go back to working on the card while we wait. That only takes, I think, about 1 to 2 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put my Pretty Peacock mat that's gonna go behind our finished piece on our card. And you know, if you were working on making a bunch of cards, you probably just keep your machine plugged in if you're going to keep doing a bunch of foiling. I have been unplugging it after I foil. I don't want to just leave it on. And then when I get ready to start the next card, when I know like might be getting close to foiling, then I'm going ahead and I'm plugging it back in. So because there's a little bit of time involved, so you kind of have to plan it accordingly, which is why I did this as a video instead of as a live, because now I'm just sitting here waiting. As soon as that die is hot, it's going to beep again and all of these lights are going to light up. I'm going to get a green light that tells me it is ready to foil. So while we're waiting on that, I'm going to make some space here because you also are going to need to use, oh, there's our beep. It's ready for me to foil. And to do that, I need to bring our machine in. This is why I'm having a hard time with how do you do videos, because I really need the video to cover a much larger space, but there's just no way to do that. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our foil, and we have rolls of foil. I showed you these in my unboxing video, but they come 2 rolls to a box, and you just cut off what you need as you need it. So I've cut this piece of foil, and we're gonna set that on top of the die with the shiny side down. That is very important, the shiny side down. Then we're gonna put our cardstock on top of that we are foiling on. So we're gonna flip that over and set that down. And then we need to add our hot foil shim and our spacer. And we're ready to unplug it and run it through our machine to finish the foiling process. And with this, you just want to be careful. I mean, it's hot, but I can touch it, so it's not so hot that you can't touch it. You just want this to slide around too much. So we're gonna put this in the machine and we're gonna run it through. And our new foil system only works in our cut and emboss machine. It does not work with other products that are out there on the market. And we take it off out of the machine, and we set this back down on the silicone mat so that it stays cool. And we start taking our layers off. And we've got, this is what it looks like after you've foiled. And you literally just peel this off. And oh my goodness, it is so pretty. I hope you can really see that with the glare of how pretty that is and how easy that was. I mean, that was so easy. And then we want to take our magnetic tool to pick up our die. And we want to put it back on here because we want to let that cool as well. So I'm going to move my machine back out of the way and bring back in all of the card pieces. I'm actually going to move this over a little bit so I can get a little more centered here. And this piece is now ready to go onto here. So we're just gonna get our glue. Remember, 4 dots in the corner, 1 in the middle. That's all you need. Your glue will last you for months and months and months if you minimize the use of how much you're using. And you really don't need a lot because it's like super glue for paper grafting. I love it because you got a couple seconds. If it's crooked, you can still maneuver things, but it's not coming apart. So, and we're going to use some dimensionals on our sentiment. We should put it on the right way so we can read it. And we're going to just set that in here. And then we are using some of the array of dots. And these are pretty peacocks, so they coordinate, they match, you know, my favorite thing. And what I love about these is that there's 3 different sizes. And, you know, they say you should always use odd numbers on cards. So to me, I just love the fact that there's 3 different sizes to use. Oops. I'm using my Take Your Pick tool. And we're gonna just come in and put one there. Hopefully my head's not in the way. One here, and the small one here. And there you have it. Like, I was really worried about how time consuming it was going to be to make a card using the new hot foil system. But that, honestly, I don't feel like it really took that much longer than making a normal card. But what a wow that packs on the front of there. You can use this on vellum, you can use it on designer paper. I've seen people doing it on ribbon and fabric, so I have lots of playing to do with it. I wanted to show you also too, what's really cool is then you have what they call the negative. This is the part that is left over. And I'm seeing people, I've made one already, people making cards using this for the next card. So on a later video, I will show you how I used the negative. So I got 2 cards out of 1 when I did the foiling. So again, I hope you enjoyed. And if you have any questions about our new machine, please let me know.